What I've got with me, obviously, it's the Nigerian Police Force Public Complaints Rapid Response Unit 2 years anniversary, and we're celebrating with the Nigerian Police this morning as they celebrate the 2 years of the Public Complaint Rapid Response Unit led by CSP Abayomi Shogunle. I was told the pronunciation wasn't right the first time, but I hope I got it right this time around. He's live here with us on the live studios, going to be looking at how well the Nigerian police have done. In the last 2 years, we've experienced the gradual and steady change in the antics and the tackling of the antics and misbehavior of police officers via the eagle eye and stern rebuke of the indicted officers by the Rapid Response Unit led by this very charismatic man right here with us, officer. Good morning, sir. Nice to have you join us in the studios.
Thank you very much. Good
all right,
morning.
first of all, I want to say congratulations, 2 years of good work. And but does the recent I say survey or that was given that rated Nigerian police not too good, has it dampened the spirit?
Honestly, not at all.
Okay.
The Nigerian police force released made a press release
To that
effect,
yeah.
Which was signed by the Force Public Relations Officer,
Yes, yeah.
CSP Moshood Jimoh, in which that stands as the official reaction of the Nigerian police force to the survey. The reports doesn't contain the true facts and reality of what is on the ground. And having said that, I think I want to implore Nigerians to go back and read these reports and have an understanding of the things that have been stated in the reports, and before they start making judgment, because so unfortunate we see a lot of Nigerians hailing the reports, dancing about it, but I think with due respect, such people are doing it out of ignorance. Okay. They need to go back and read.
For you,
the parameters.
What's the highlight of the report that
you see
doesn't really tally?
Discussing the report is not part of my brief.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you look into these reports, you will see that even the authors said the report is based on 4 main focal areas: okay. Capacity, right. Process, legitimacy, and outcome. And the reports made specific mention about the index, okay. Used as in the major index, which is the 300 police officers to 100,000 citizens okay. For sub-Saharan Africa, okay. And that Nigeria has 219 officers to 100,000 citizens,
which is
very
decent.
No, what they are saying is that 219 officers per 100 right. Citizens we have in Nigeria fall short of the 300 officers to 100,000 citizens benchmark for sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah. You see, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Ibrahim Idris, has made a case for the police force
more recruitment
to recruit more. Just recently, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari approved
for
10,000, which we've started turning out from the training school. Police did not carry out any recruitment for like 5 years before the President Buhari gave the approval for the 10,000. So that's why I'm saying I think those hailing the reports, which is out of ignorance, should go back and read and understand and take a look at it with the present day realities before they start jumping about that. Look, you said the Nigerian police force is the worst, but people are still going to their offices this morning to work.
All right.
Countries, just a minute, okay. Countries who have been countries rated above the Nigerian police force, they have one of the worst murder cases in the world. They have one of the, go to South Africa, go to India, they have the worst rape cases.
Very true.
You know, and how many people are being killed in Nigeria? How many people, how many female are being raped in Nigeria compared to those countries? You know, so I just want people to go back and read it.
All right, you
compare it with the present day reality.
If you look at the indices in terms of capacity, obviously the survey falls short. It means they're not right as regards how they rated the Nigerian police in terms of capacity. If you talk about 219 to us 300, not that bad, very decent. Let's look at the other indices which you also mentioned. How would you look at the legitimacy? Do you think they have a point in that aspect also? Because if you look at it, Nigerian police is very legitimate, so obviously they don't have a point in that.
You are trying to draw me into discussing this.
No,
as a senior police officer, don't worry. I think I'll try and answer your question before we go into the issue of PCRRU. Okay, you see, when we talk about legitimacy, you see there is a lot of false report going about the Nigerian police force. Unfortunately, by the same Nigerian citizens.
Can we use the NBC as a case study, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, that rated the Nigerian police and the judiciary as the top in terms of corruption indices?
That's part of the issue of legitimacy. Parading fake news.
Statistics.
Parading fake statistics. You know, statistics that cannot be, that you can't justify. If you are talking about, you know, the simple question I will ask, I can't remember the exact figure quoted in the NBC report. I think something billion naira. If such amount of money has been collected as bribe, what is the effect on the economy? You know, these are things we need to look at. You know, but the thing is, the more you continue to give fake news, fake data about your country and about organizations in your country, these are the same figures that the international community will use to judge your country. And you know, part of it is would I say high rate of unemployment, because somebody that is in the office this morning that has something to do will not be bothered jumping on social media, you know, spreading fake news, you know. So it's all these things are interwoven anyway.
So, NBC, they've done their part, and it's not news that the judiciary and the police force are rated high when it comes to corruption.
According to NBC, that doesn't mean that is true.
Fine. But I just want to ask a question. Is it just possible, because we had a lawyer sit here, he was trying to defend, you know, and then you are now here before us, but is it just possible that is true, and they just brought the statistics to the fore,
that
these two
that is not that you see that is not true. No,
because we can't deny the fact that there is indeed corruption in the police force.
No doubt there is corruption. There is corruption, or there was corruption in Nigeria, and that is what. Listen. There was corruption in Nigeria, and that's one of the bases upon which the present government was elected at the federal level, because there was corruption, and there is corruption all over the world. The only thing you can do is to minimize corruption. In the United States of America, there is corruption. In the United Kingdom, there is corruption involving high-level government officials. It's everywhere. The only thing you can do is to minimize it. Now, the question I have for NBC is, what is the percentage, or how many Nigerians have interaction with judges? How many Nigerians have real interactions with police officers on a daily basis? You know, how many Nigerians have interaction with doctors in medical hospitals for you to now say those are the highest number of as in they are the most corrupt agencies? Look at professions where close to half of Nigerians have interactions with on a daily basis. How did they go about it? So
Right, let's just shift gear to the main discourse now, which has to do with the Public Complaints Rapid Response Unit. You're 2 years today, and I want to say congratulations for the good work you've done so far. We've got a lot of cases coming up, and personally, I have contacted you and have seen you reacted and investigations done and feedback gotten. One of the case being the Joy Odama case, which the Nigerian police was involved with. Some officials indicted, and I know that you played some role in ensuring that the case was looked into further and getting some feedback. Okay, for you, what has been the most challenging cases of 2017 that the Public Complaint Rapid Response Unit has dealt with in 2017, and probably your overall view for starters?
Well, let's say the most challenging. Almost all the cases
Yes.
we've received presented its own unique challenge or challenges.
Okay.
And overall, I would just say one of the most challenging thing anyone will do is to be in charge of a unit saddled with the responsibility of cleansing the same organization you belong to.
Wow.
Because
You're going to make a lot of enemies.
exactly. And you see, that's why in most cases, once we deal with a case,
Okay.
we present the case in its raw form
Okay.
as reported by the complainant,
Okay.
so that even members of the public and the family members and friends of the indicted officer will see that, oh, Officer A, what you have done is not acceptable.
Okay.
So that it won't be that, oh, it is ACP Shogunle or
Witch hunting.
PCRRU that is witch hunting so person. Considering the fact that I will definitely leave the PCRRU and go back into the mainstream of policing.
Okay.
So, but honestly, even with that, we in PCRRU, we just see that we are doing our job and somebody must do the job.
All right. We see you have lots of statistics. Can you put us through the statistics you've got in terms of the total registered complaints you have gotten so far in 2017, and the number of resolved cases that you've also got?
You see, so far so good. We'll recall that on the 13th of November 2015,
Okay.
which was on a Friday, the former Inspector General of Police, IGP Solomon Arase,
Okay.
established the CRU, the Complaint Response Unit at the time, which is now known as the Public Complaint Rapid Response Unit, PCRRU.
Okay.
The renaming was due to the fact that the current Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, gave more responsibilities to the unit, which has to include taking cases not only against police officers but also against civil servants from different public entities, both at the federal, state and the local government level. So that's why we are now saying the public and the rapid, because the rapid means we are now having more collaboration with, for instance, the X Squad and the IGP monitoring units as well. And from 13th November 2015 to 13th November 2017, the PCRRU has recorded a total of 7,216 complaints from members of the public for this 2 years period from 13th November 2015 till date. 7,216 cases were registered.
Okay.
And out of these, we've been able to resolve 5,927 cases. And we have 560 false complaints.
Okay.
560 false complaints. So,
false.
no, we did investigation.
Okay.
You know, we have a process. Once a case comes in, we immediately do 3 things to verify the complaint, then also to investigate the complaint and give a feedback. So every complaint that comes in, or all the complaints that have been registered from across the country, they have all been investigated. Some of this investigation just takes hours, some of the investigation takes just 1 or 2 days, and some of the investigations have taken like upward of 2-3 weeks. Yes. So
for those that bring in false complaints, what is their motive? Just to usurp the police force? Or
you see part of the thing I was saying, unemployment is part of it. Because we've seen people, somebody who is in Abuja will type that he's witnessing police extortion along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Thank God to technology. You do a forensic analysis of the device he's using, you see that he's transmitting from Abuja. So how will somebody transmitting from Abuja say he's seeing police extorting money along Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, whereas you are in Abuja? In this era of technology, there is no way you can lie about your activities when you are using devices, you know. So that's part of it. And then some of these complaints again that are false, we also discovered that some people, you know, they made what I will call preemptive reporting. They are going to a police station by 12 p.m. By 10 a.m., they will send a complaint that this is what is happening. You know, maybe because of what they have heard from friends or what they have read, they just want to create that this is what will happen when I go there. Negative. So they make the report, but by the time you look into it, you will see that he has not even arrived at the police station. You know, but even that too has kept some police officers on their toes, because immediately we contact the police in such station and they will tell us, no, this person is not here. Then the next thing after like 30 minutes, oh, he has just gotten here. You know, so different things.
All right, from the statistics, we also see 1,820 cases of officers requesting monies for bail. Why is this bail issue really very problematic, and what can be done? And how did you come about this 1,820 cases?
You see,
and which region, if you don't mind?
Sorry?
And which region did most of this reports come from?
Okay. You see, the issue of bail. Requesting money for bail has been a problem even before I joined the police 25 years ago. You know, it's been a problem, and part of the things we want to do in PCRRU is to put a stop to this, because normally bail is free. But even before I joined the police, some police officers have been collecting money for bail, which we want to put a stop to. Which we have. I want to believe we have achieved a lot regarding this. And what are the reasons probably responsible for this? You know, a lot of reasons are responsible, but notwithstanding, there is no justification. Corruption is corruption. There is no justification for corruption. And if you look at the numbers of officers dismissed, 10 officers were dismissed
in 2017.
within those
2 years.
2 years.
Okay.
You know, we normally do quarterly reports.
Yes.
We just released the third quarter for 2017, I think last week or so.
Okay.
So we have one more quarter report for this year, which will cover October, November, December, and hopefully January 2018, God willing, we'll release that.
Okay.
You know, so we normally put details of every cases, but you know, these 10 officers dismissed is for the whole 2 years.
Okay.
And I think about 7 of the officers dismissed has to do with requesting money for bail.
Okay.
They collected bail money which they shouldn't have collected, and that's why the PCRRU, upon the approval of the IGP Ibrahim Idris, we've created a big poster which we have placed in all police stations in Nigeria that says bail is free. If anybody tells you to bring money for bail, report to PCRRU, which is available 24/7.
Is there a number on the
okay. There is just as we have on this. We have phone numbers to call. We have phone numbers you can send text message in case you don't have airtime. We have phone numbers you can send BlackBerry messengers. We have a BBM pin. We have a Twitter handle, we have a Facebook page, we have email address, and you know, we've been receiving reports, and I think about 7 of these 10 officers has to do with money for bail issue.
Okay. All right. We had a guest last week who made mention of the fact that one of the security challenges we're facing in the country is because of some officers, both army, police, who have either died and their families nowhere taken care of, and so their kids end up, you know, getting into vices, or security operatives who were dismissed unjustly, who now take up arms or to begin to train people to use arms in other places. For these dismissed officers, is there any succor for their families or something, just to ensure that they don't, probably out of anger, decide to, you know, get into other criminal activities?
You see, it's quite unfortunate that at this stage we have to be discussing about benefits and entitlements to next of kin of deceased police officers who have died on the line of duty.
Because you have 328.
Yes,
in
because
2 years.
When we were developing the PCRRU 2 years ago, we felt that it shouldn't just only be about taking complaints from members of the public. Within the police, we have issues that we need to look into, and that's one of the reasons we included cases of benefits and next of kin to help facilitate. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. To help facilitate payment of benefits to next of kin of deceased officers who have died serving the nation. And in these 2 years, we received 328 cases. You know, next of kin of a deceased officer shouldn't complain before the entitlements are paid, but unfortunately this is happening. And that's why I'm saying people that are jumping about this so-called report that police is the worst, they should go back and read the report and apply it to the present day realities. You know, it is happening, but the fact that next of kin or children of deceased police officers have not been paid their entitlement shouldn't be linked to terrorism or crime. Because when you talk to experts as in criminologists, you talk to experts on terrorism, they will tell you part of the things they believe are responsible for such in the society. And if you take a look at it, you will even see children of well-to-do people, the richest people in the society,
Involved in crimes.
the underwear bomber in the airplane in US is not a child of a deceased police officer.
True.
You know, all those trying to go to
Yemen and
Syria,
yes,
to join ISIS. We have seen their names. These are children of rich people in the society, you know, so I wouldn't agree to that.
Okay.
That is responsible.
For these 328 cases, what is their fate so far? Have they been reached out to by the Nigerian police force? What is the current
Of course,
standard?
we've some of them we've facilitated the payment of
the benefits.
And in some cases the delay was probably caused by the deceased officer who did not feel the appropriate. There's what we call Gen 60. It's a form in the Nigerian police where you put certain details in case of eventualities, who should be given what, as you know. Some officers did not feel this. Then there are some officers who have you know, who are polygamists, and they have listed children from different wives, and which that also caused some kind of misunderstanding between the families left behind. You know, there are a lot of things responsible for this as well.
All right. We also have on your list 278 total distress calls received. These distress calls, which areas do they cover, and what was the response when you got this distress calls? Were you able to attend and help the citizens and make these calls?
Yes, you know, ordinarily PCR shouldn't be taking distress calls, you know, but while developing and designing the operations of the unit, we also consider the fact that there is no functional national emergency line in Nigeria as at then and even up to now.
Wow.
Yes.
But why is it difficult when we have a lot of telecommunications companies, and we see you on Twitter and you have other social media.
You see, at a point, the Nigerian police force wrote to NCC. You know, the NCC regulates telecommunications, and we wrote to them. I was part of the team set up by the Nigerian police force to make this happen. You know, a lot of things that's another discussion on its own. So I think the public should hold the NCC responsible for Nigeria not having national emergency line. Nigerians should hold the NCC responsible for that. The police will only work with what we have been given. We only work with what we have been given. It is what you give to us that we use to do the work.
But I think there are certain numbers, a particular number that was given out for people to call.
Call the number and see if it is working.
That's what you mean.
Call the number and see if it is working.
I got caught with this numbers of officers with reduced rank. Says 4.
Reduction in rank.
What leads to that?
That's a punishment. You know, I told you 7,216 cases were received. 5,927 were resolved. Out of the resolved cases, after the investigation, some officers were found to have conducted themselves in a way they shouldn't have, unprofessional conduct. And we have different punishments under the Police Acts and Regulation. The highest punishment is dismissal from service. The person will be dismissed, and just as I said, we have 10 of them. Then next to dismissal from service is reduction in rank.
Okay.
You know, for instance, a corporal, a sergeant was reduced to corporal.
Wow.
So that means you one of your rank.
Lowest you have, sorry?
The lowest we have is a constable. Unfortunately, a constable cannot be reduced. A constable will be dismissed outrightly.
Yeah.
Okay, It's possible to just
Yeah,
dismiss him.
if
outrightly.
instead of giving a constable reduction in rank, you dismiss him, because he shouldn't be, if he is involved in such at that early stage. You know, you can't reduce him. So the same thing, a cadet inspector. I came in as a cadet inspector. You know, if a cadet inspector, an inspector who came in as a cadet inspector has done something, you cannot reduce him to sergeant, because he never wore that rank before. Then you have to dismiss him. The same thing with a cadet ASP. By ASP, after academy is an ASP, you cannot reduce him to an inspector. So you dismiss him, because you can't reduce him to a rank he never wore before. Then after dismissal, we also have severe reprimand.
Okay.
Severe reprimand is also a punishment, and that means within 1 year you won't be entitled to promotion. If your mates have been promoted, you will not be promoted. That is one. And within that 1 year, you must not commit any offense, no matter how minor. Even if it's a minor offense, within that 1 year, you are going. You know, there is one officer who was given severe reprimand. Then we have suspension.
We see that two officers.
That is a kind of punishment.
Is there a time frame for suspensions?
There is no time. Yes, there is a time frame. You know, suspension is a punishment, and suspension is also part of a process leading to a punishment. Like the case in Ikorodu in Lagos, where I think three police officers have been dismissed, an inspector and 2 other ranks. The ASP that led them, you know, it is the Police Service Commission that has the power to discipline or to approve disciplinary measures in respect of senior police officers. That is ASP to DIG.
Okay.
It is the Police Service Commission. So the process of dismissing the don't let me preempt. But the thing is, we have an ASP who is on suspension. Then we have another CSP who is on suspension. Both of them are in Lagos. You know, the CSP, there was this news about a CSP that shot a tailor in Lagos sometimes not too long ago. I think they went for a raiding. I want to believe he has been charged to court. You know, then the time frame will now be we have the first disciplinary committee, FDC. They will review, they will call the officers for to face the FDC, the committee. They will now review the whole cases again and then take a decision, recommend to the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police will put a recommendation on the punishment and send to the Police Service Commission. We've had instances where officers on suspension were called back, and we've had instances where officers on suspension were called back and reduced in rank, and we've had instances where officers on suspension were dismissed. They were never called back. So the outcome will determine what will happen.
Well, what you've said, I now understand why the Police Service Commission did say that they didn't have the right to sanction or call the IG to order when there was pressure on the Police Service Commission to talk to the IG. When there was
the Police Service Commission can only look into disciplinary matters of senior police officers, SPOs from ASPs to
DIG,
Deputy Inspector General of Police.
The issue of the 10,000 newly recruited police officers who have been I think before we get there's this issue about the total extorted money recovered and handed over to owners, totaling about 1.1 million naira, right? And about $8,800. $800. Can you put us through how you achieved that feat?
You see, in the period of these 2 years, some of the reports, some of the complaints came with allegation of extortion. That police have collected so amount from me.
Okay.
And investigation revealed that some of them were true, and the monies extorted were recovered. So in total, for 2 years, the PCRRU recovered 11.1 million naira
Okay.
from different police officers across the country. 11.1 million extorted money. I think the highest was the 2 point something million involving an assistant commissioner of police, who was given severe reprimand.
Okay.
Then I think the lowest should be 2,000 naira or so. But all this money put together, 11.1 million.
Okay.
And which we have given back to the various owners. You know, the latest is the 100,000 recovered when a woman contacted the PCRRU from Kano.
From Kano.
In Kano State. That is contained in our current report. 100,000
100,000
was extorted from her by somebody claiming to be a police officer, who is not even a police officer, you know. And the money was recovered. The man has been sent to court. The case has been charged to court. You know, then there's also this $800 US. Actually, this case of $800 US is a unique case on its own, because the person that made the report is the person from whom we recovered the money from. You know,
that's very strange.
You know, there's this erroneous belief. You know, when I was on the field during my early days in Ibadan, you know, people believed that it is the first person to get to the station that is the complainant. So, for instance, if you slap me, you believe that if you are the first person to get to the station, you will be the complainant. So there were cases where we see people dragging themselves at the gate of police station. Now, no, I will be the first person to enter. But you know, it's not. Who will be the complainant is not the first person to enter the station. You know, the police will listen to you, then and decide based on the facts on the case. You know, this particular person collected money from somebody for certain business. The police was involved. And the police were, though the police involved also did certain things that they shouldn't have done. Because I think a senior military officer came in, and the police now helped them to lure the person to the military. You know, the police officer was sanctioned for that because he shouldn't have done that. But notwithstanding, we still discovered that, and part of the money this person collected from the complainant happens to be in dollars, in foreign currency, and we're able to the PCRU was able to recover the money, give back to the owner.
All right. We just, for the good work you've done so far, we're looking at the whole of 2017. What will be the things you said, the lessons learned that would help 2018 become better, especially as we head towards 2019 specifically? We know the officers across the country will be very busy, and there will be a lot of politicking. How do you intend to, put measures to ensure that officers do better come 2018?
You see, there are different programs going on generally in the Nigerian police force, which the Nigerian police is doing in conjunction.
Not to cut you short, but most times people believe these programs and seminars and trainings seem to be for only those at the top. That's why we have decent, fine police officers at the top, but at the lower cadre, they seem not to be benefiting.
No, I think in some cases, the program starts from the force headquarters. And or maybe the reason why people see most of what is happening in the force headquarters the most, maybe, it has to do with publicity. For instance, people in Abuja won't see what is happening in, say, Ogun State or Sokoto State or Enugu State, for instance.
Okay.
But if you go to Enugu State, people in Enugu State will tell you what news they have heard or read about activities of the police in Enugu. You know, in most cases we have a kind of regional media
Okay.
coverage
Okay.
somehow. You know, like BCOS in Oyo State, for
Okay.
instance, focus more on what is happening in Oyo State.
State.
And somebody living in Abuja might not have the chance to watch OGTV, for instance.
Okay.
You know, it's everywhere, and the police belongs to the people. Police belongs to the people, and that's why all those jumping and shouting that Nigerian police force is the
But why would people celebrate that?
They are celebrating that themselves, not the police.
Okay.
Because the police belongs to them. They determine what the police will do. They determine how the police will look like. You know, so somebody sends your child from school and tell you that your child is not doing good, is not brilliant, and the father is happy about it. The parent should check him or herself, because it is what you have given to the police, it is what you want the child to be that your child will be.
No, but so it's also possible that what you give to the police, they also have the power to not influence it or change it. So
that's why I say people should read that report, understand it, apply it with what is happening.
All right. Finally, before we'll let you go, can you probably give us some tips during this chilly tide season that people should be careful about? Because we did get some security alerts, like saying recently we noticed that these criminals, what they do, they hit your car on purpose so that you stop, calm down, and they now rob you. So what other tips would you be giving to the public as we head towards this December period, so they will be a little bit cautious? And for the Nigerian police force, do you have any measures already being implemented to safeguard lives during this Yuletide season?
It's been a practice in the Nigerian police force that during festive periods we have what we call operational orders.
All right.
We take cognizance of peculiarities in a particular area and how to get it sorted out. And which we have all over the command. There is operational orders to cover this festive period, and it is a fact from experience. It is a fact that some people who have never done anything since the beginning of the year, they have been sleeping since January. December is coming. They want to ride a car and they want to build a house in their village, and they want to take a car to their village, and they have not done any job since January 1st this year. And in most cases, what do such people do? They go into crime. You know, we also have seasonal criminals.
Okay.
Some people, because of there is usually increase in economic activities towards the end of the year. So what I would advise, first of all, make use of the cashless policy of the central bank. Try as much as possible not to go about with cash. If you are buying anything, use the POS. Some outlets, they have POS, and there is mobile banking now. You don't even have to have a lot of money.
We're still talking with the CSP Abayomi.
ACP. The last time I was here, I was a CSP. I'm an assistant. Police.
Sorry, trying to take him back to where he had risen to. ASP Abayomi. ACP.
Or just simply say Abayomi Shogunle.
ACP Abayomi Shogunle still in the live studios with us and giving us, right now we're towards the tail end, and he's giving us very key security tips on how to prevent any funny issues during this Yuletide season. And he has started with the carrying of heavy monies around. He's saying use
use POS or use the mobile banking.
Okay.
Don't go about with cash when you
okay.
want to buy things. Even you are buying something of 1,000, 100,000, 500,000, don't go with cash. It is a fact that we have insiders in the bank, in the banks, that give information to criminals that so person in red shirt has withdrawn 1 million. It's a fact. We have recorded cases from across the country. So all you need to do is, you don't need to go to bank to go and withdraw cash. Make use of the mobile banking. All you just need is text message and your account number and the account number of the person and the name. That you prevent yourself from being a victim of crime. Then for those that will be traveling, make sure you inform your neighbors. If possible, try as much as possible to leave at least one person back at home. Inform your neighbors that you are traveling, so that in case they see anything funny, they can report to the police. Then if you don't have the phone number of the police station in your area, please make it a point of duty to get it this week, because you might need it. Get the phone number of your divisional police officer, your DPO. Get the phone number of distress call for the control room in that state. Save it on your phone. Give all members of your family. You might just need it. And once you see anything suspicious, please make sure you inform the police. Then also avoid discussing contracts you have just gotten, the jobs. You know, it's so common. You go to gatherings and you see somebody, you know, maybe some people believe they are trying to show that they are to show up that they are big. Oh, that contract of so I just got it, they will give me the money, I'm waiting for the from there. People criminals trail their victims to the house, to the homes where they attack them. You know, the most important thing, just be vigilant, and once you see anything unusual, report to the police. Then this is for the ladies. When you are driving, please try as much as possible, don't put your handbags, your phones on the empty seat beside you, or the empty seat at the back of you. Put it underneath, as in on the floor of the car. Then for everyone, try as much as possible to double lock your car while in traffic, and so on. We just pay attentive to what is happening, and that we can reduce number of crimes that we're going to record during this season.
All right, thank you very much. We've been talking with ACP Abayomi Shogunle. Don't mind me. This acronym is trying to play games with me this morning, but I want to say thank you very much. And I want to say congratulations to the Nigerian Police Force Public Complaints Rapid Response Unit for the awesome job they've done in 2 years, from November 2015 till this year, talking about November 13, 2017. They've done an amazing job, receiving 7,216 complaints from the public and resolving massive 5,927 job done. That's really amazing. That tells you that the survey which we had over the weekend, truly not good enough, doesn't tell well of how good the Nigerian police has been over time. I want to say big congratulations, sir, for the good work you're doing, and hoping that 2018 will be better. All right, we'll be calling, this is how we call it, a wrap on the discourse, and we'll be going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up Africa's finest breakfast show, Newday.